Package org.parosproxy.paros.core.spider. Import java.sql.sql exception. Import org.parosproxy.paros.model.history-reference. Import org.parosproxy.paros.model.session. Import org.parosproxy.paros.network.http malformed header exception. Import org.parosproxy.paros.network.http message. To change the template for this generated type comment, go to Window, Preferences, Java, Code Generation, Code and Comments. Public class Q item. Private int depth equals 0. Private history reference ref equals null. Q item. Super. Q item, session, int history type, HTTP message, throws HTTP malformed header exception, SQL exception. Ref equals new history reference, session, history type, message. Void set depth, int depth. This dot depth equals depth. Int get depth. Return depth. HTTP message get message. HTTP message equals null. Try. Message equals ref.getP message. Catch, exception e. Return message. History reference get history reference. Return ref. Package org.parosproxy.paros.db. To change the template for this generated type comment, go to Window, Preferences, Java, Code Generation, Code and Comments. Public class record alert. Private int alert ID equals 0. Private int scan ID equals 0. Private int plugin ID equals 0. Private string alert equals. Private int risk equals 0. Private int reliability equals 0. Private string description equals. Private string URI equals. Private string param equals. Private string other info equals. Private string solution equals. Private string reference equals. Private int history ID equals 0. Public record alert. Public record alert, int alert ID, int scan ID, int plugin ID, string alert, int risk, int reliability, string description, string URI, string query, string other info, string solution, string reference, int history ID. Set alerted, alert ID. Set scanned, scan ID. Set plugined, plugin ID. Set alert, alert. Set risk, risk. Set reliability, reliability. Set description, description. Set URI, URI. Set param, query. Set other info. Set solution, solution. Set reference, reference. Set history ID. At return returns the alert. Public string get alert. Return alert. At param alert the alert to set. Public void set alert, string alert. This dot alert equals alert. At return returns the alert ID. Public int get alerted. Return alert ID. At param alert ID the alert ID to set. Public void set alerted, int alert ID. This dot alert ID equals alert ID. At return returns the description. Public string get description. Return description. At param description the description to set. Public void set description, string description. This dot description equals description. At return returns the other info. Public string get other info. Return other info. At param other info the other info to set. Public void set other info, string other info. This dot other info equals other info. At return returns the plugin ID. Public int get plugined. Return plugin ID. At param plugin ID the plugin ID to set. Public void set plugined, int plugin ID. This dot plugin ID equals plugin ID. At return returns the query. Public string get param. Return param. At param query the query to set. Public void set param, string query. This dot param equals query. At return returns the reference. Public string get reference. Return reference. At param reference the reference to set. Public void set reference, string reference. This dot reference equals reference. At return returns the reliability. Public int get reliability. Return reliability. At param reliability the reliability to set. Public void set reliability, int reliability. This dot reliability equals reliability. At return returns the risk. Public int get risk. Return risk. At param risk the risk to set. Public void set risk, int risk. This dot risk equals risk. At return returns the scan ID. Public int get scanned. Return scan ID. At param scan ID the scan ID to set. Public void set scanned, int scan ID. This dot scan ID equals scan ID. At return returns the solution. Public string get solution. Return solution. At param solution the solution to set. Public void set solution, string solution. This dot solution equals solution. At return returns the URI. Public string get URI. Return URI. At param URI the URI to set. Public void set URI, string URI. This dot URI equals URI. At return returns the history ID. Public int get historyid. Return history ID. At param history ID the history ID to set. Public voids historyid, int history ID. This dot history ID equals history ID. Package org.parosproxy.paros.db. Import org.parosproxy.paros.model.history reference. Import org.parosproxy.paros.network.http malformed header exception. Import org.parosproxy.paros.network.http message. To change the template for this generated type comment go to Window, Preferences, Java, Code Generation, Code and Comments. Public class record history. Private int history ID equals 0. Private long session ID equals 0. Private int history type equals history reference dot type underscore manual. Private HTTP message equals null. Public record history. HTTP message equals new HTTP message. Public record history, int history ID, int history type, long session ID, long times int millis, int time elapsed millis, string req header, string req body, string resheader, string res body, string tag, throws HTTP malformed header exception. Sthysteriod, history ID. Sthyster write type, history type. Set sessionid, session ID. HTTP message equals new HTTP message, req header, req body, resheader, res body. HTTP message dot setimes int millis, times int millis. HTTP message dot set time elapsed millis, time elapsed millis. HTTP message dot set tag, tag. At return returns the ID. Public int get historyid. Return history ID. At return returns the history type. Public int get history type. Return history type. Public HTTP message get p message. Return HTTP message. At param ID the ID to set. Public voids historyid, int history ID. This dot history ID equals history ID. At param history type the history type to set. Public voids history type, int history type. This dot history type equals history type. At return returns the session ID. Public long get sessionid. Return session ID. At param session ID the session ID to set. Public void set session id, long session ID. This dot session ID equals session ID. Package org.paros proxy.paros.db. To change the template for this generated type comment, go to Window, Preferences, Java, Code Generation, Code and Comments. Public class record scan. Private int scan ID equals 0. Private string scan name equals. Private java.sql.date scan time equals null. At param session ID. At param session name. At param last access. Public record scan, int scan ID, string scan name, java.sql.date scan time. Super. Set scanned, scan ID. Set scaname, scan name. Set scan time, scan time. At return returns the scan ID. Public int get scanned. Return scan ID. At param scan ID the scan ID to set. Public void set scanned, int scan ID. This dot scan ID equals scan ID. At return returns the scan name. Public string get scaname. Return scan name. At param scan name the scan name to set. Public void set scaname, string scan name. This dot scan name equals scan name. At return returns the scan time. Public java.sql.date get scan time. Return scan time. At param scan time the scan time to set. Public void set scan time, java.sql.date scan time. This dot scan time equals scan time. Package org.paros proxy.paros.db. To change the template for this generated type comment, go to Window, Preferences, Java, Code Generation, Code and Comments. Public class record session. Private long session ID equals 0. Private string session name equals. Private java.sql.date last access equals null. At param session ID. At param session name. At param last access. Public record session, long session ID, string session name, java.sql.date last access. Super. This dot session ID equals session ID. This dot session name equals session name. This dot last access equals last access. At return returns the session name. Public string get session name. Return session name. At param session name the session name to set. Public void set session name, string session name. This dot session name equals session name. At return returns the last access. Public java.sql.date get last access. Return last access. At return returns the session ID. Public long get sessioned. Return session ID. Import java.io.file. Import java.io.io exception. Import java.io.stringReader. Import java.text.simpledate format. Import java.utilityDate. Import java.utilityRegEx.matcher. Import java.utilityRegEx.pattern. Import javax.xml.parsers.documentbuilder. Import javax.xml.parsers.documentbuilder factory. Import javax.xml.parsers.parser configuration exception. Import javax.xml.transform.transformer. Import javax.xml.transform.transformer configuration exception. Import javax.xml.transform.transformer exception. Import javax.xml.transform.transformer factory. Import javax.xml.transform.dom source. Import javax.xml.transform.stream result. Import javax.xml.transform.stream source. Import org.paros proxy.paros.constant. Import org.w3c.dom document. Import org.xml.sax input source. Import org.xml.sax sax exception. Public class report generator. Private static pattern windows equals pattern.compile, window, pattern.case underscore insensitive. Private static pattern Linux equals pattern.compile, Linux, pattern.case underscore insensitive. Private static final simple date format static date format equals new simple date format, EE, DMMMYYYYHHMMSS. Public static file string titmel, string smell, string in file slow, string out file name. Document builder factory equals document builder factory.new instance. Document doc equals null. Factory.setName spacierware, true. Factory.set validating, true. File style sheet equals null. File out file equals null. String reader in reader equals new string reader, ink smell. Try. Style sheet equals new file, in file slow. Out file equals new file, out file name. Document builder equals factory.new document builder. Doc equals builder.parse, new input source, in reader. Use a transformer for output. Transformer factory T factory equals transformer factory.new instance. Stream source style source equals new stream source, style sheet. Transformer equals T factory.new transformer, style source. DOM source equals new DOM source, doc. Stream result equals new stream result, out file. Transformer.transform, source, result. Catch, transformer configuration exception TCE. Error generated by the parser. System.out.println, \n transformer factory error. System.out.println, plus TCE.get message. Use the contained exception, if any. Throwable x equals TCE. If, TCE.get exception, equals null. X equals TCE.get exception. X.print stack trace. Catch, transformer exception TE. Error generated by the parser. System.out.println, \n transformation error. System.out.println, plus TE.get message. Use the contained exception, if any. Throwable x equals TE. If, TE.get exception, equals null. X equals TE.get exception. X.print stack trace. Catch, SAX exception SXE. Error generated by this application. Or a parser initialization error. Exception x equals SXE. If, SXE.get exception, equals null. X equals SXE.get exception. X.print stack trace. Catch, parser configuration exception PCE. Parser with specified options can't be built. PCE.print stack trace. Catch, IO exception IOE. IO error. IOE.print stack trace. Finally. Return out file. Public static file file.mel, string in file xmel, string in file xlow, string out file name. Document builder factory equals document builder factory.new instance. Document doc equals null. Factory.setName spacierware, true. Factory.set validating, true. File style sheet equals null. File data file equals null. File out file equals null. Try. Style sheet equals new file, in file xlow. Data file equals new file, in file xmel. Out file equals new file, out file name. Document builder equals factory.new document builder. Doc equals builder.parse, data file. Use a transformer for output. Transformer factory T factory equals transformer factory dot new instance. Stream source style source equals new stream source, style sheet. Transformer equals T factory dot new transformer, style source. DOM source equals new DOM source, doc. Stream result equals new stream result, out file. Transform, source, result. Catch, transformer configuration exception TCE. Error generated by the parser. System.out.println, \n transformer factory error. System.out.println, plus TCE.get message. Use the contained exception, if any. Throwable x equals TCE. If TCE.get exception equals null. X equals TCE.get exception. X.print stack trace. Catch, transformer exception TE. Error generated by the parser. System.out.println, \n transformation error. System.out.println, plus TE.get message. Use the contained exception, if any. Throwable x equals TE. If TE.get exception equals null. X equals TE.get exception. X.print stack trace. Catch, SAX exception SXE. Error generated by this application. Or a parser initialization error. Exception x equals SXE. If SXE.get exception equals null. X equals SXE.get exception. X.print stack trace. Catch, parser configuration exception PCE. Parser with specified options can't be built. PCE.print stack trace. Catch, IO exception IOE. IO error. IOE.print stack trace. Finally, return out file. Public static void open browser, string URI. Try. If constant dot is Windows. Is Windows. Int POS equals URI dot last index of \\. String path equals URI dot substring 0 POS. String file equals URI dot substring POS plus 1. Runtime dot get runtime dot exec CMDC start d \+ plus path plus \+ plus file. Return. If constant dot is Linux. Is Linux. Runtime dot get runtime dot exec Mozilla plus URI. Return. Catch, exception E.print stack trace. Encode entity for HTML or XML output. Public static string entity encode, string text. String result equals text. If result equals null. Return result. And must be the first one to replace because all other entity depends on and. Result equals result dot replace all, and amp. Result equals result dot replace all, and lt. Result equals result dot replace all, and gt. Result equals result dot replace all, \, end quote. Result equals result dot replace all, and oppose. Return result. Get today's date string. Public static string get current data time string. Date time equals new date, system.current to me millis. Return get data time string, date time. Public static string get data time string, date time. Return static date format, date time. Package org.paros proxy.paros.extension.report. Import java.io.file. Import java.sql.connection. Import java.sql.prepared statement. Import java.sql.result set. Import java.sql.sql exception. Import org.paros proxy.paros.core.scanner.alert. Import org.paros proxy.paros.db.database. Import org.paros proxy.paros.db.record alert. Import org.paros proxy.paros.db.record scan. Import org.paros proxy.paros.extension.view delegate. Import org.paros proxy.paros.model.model. To change the template for this generated type comment, go to Window, Preferences, Java, Code Generation, Code and Comments. Public Class Report Last Scan. Public Report Last Scan. Private String Get Alerts ML, Database DB, Record Scan, Throws SQL Exception. Connection con equals null. Prepared statement PS alert equals null. String buffer SB equals new string buffer. Prepare table connection. Try. Con equals db.get database server, .get no connection. Con.stred only, true. PS alert equals con.prepare statement, select alert.alerted from alert join scan on alert.scanit equals scan.scanit where scan.scanit equals order by pluginid. PS alert.set int, 1, record scan.get scanned. PS alert.execute. Result set rs equals PS alert.get result set. Record alert equals null. Alert equals null. Alert last alert equals null. String buffer spirals equals new string buffer, 100. String s equals null. Get each alert from table. While, rs.next. Int alert id equals rs.getInt, 1. Record alert equals db.gettable alert, .read, alert id. Alert equals new alert, record alert. If, last alert, equals null and alert.get pluginid, equals last alert.get pluginid. S equals last alert.top plugging smell, spirals.toString. SB append, S. Spirals.set length, 0. S equals alert.getURL param smell. Spirals.append, S. Last alert equals alert. If, last alert, equals null. SB append, last alert.toplugging smell, spirals.toString. Catch, SQL exception E. Finally. If, con, equals null. Con.close. Exit. Return SB toString. Public file generate, string file name, model, throws exception. String buffer SB equals new string buffer, 500. Record scan equals null. Scan equals model.getDB, .gettable scan, .getLatestScan. If, scan equals null. View.show message dialog, scan result is not available. No report is generated. Return null. SB append, XML version equals \1.0 \. SB append, report \r\n. SB append, report generated at plus report generator .get current data time string, plus .r \n. SB append, get alerts ml, model.getDB, scan. SB append, report. If, file name ends with, .htm. File name equals file name plus .htm. File report equals report generator .string.ml, SB toString, XML plus file.separator plus report latestscan.xsl, file name. Return report. Public void generate, view delegate view, model. Record scan equals null. Try. String output equals model.getSession, .getSession folder, plus file.separator plus latest scanned report.htm. File report equals generate, output, model. If, report equals null. Return. View.show message dialog, scanning report generated. If it does not show up after clicking OK \r\n, please browse the file at plus report.getAbsolutePath. Report generator.open browser, report.getAbsolutePath. Catch, exception E. E.print stack trace. View.show warning dialog, file creation error. Package org.parosproxy.paros.core.scanner. Import org.parosproxy.paros.network.http message. To change the template for this generated type comment, go to Window, Preferences, Java, Code Generation, Code and Comments. Class Sample Response. Static final int error underscore page underscore RFC equals 0. Static final int error underscore page underscore non underscore RFC equals 1. Static final int error underscore page underscore redirect equals 2. Static final int error underscore page underscore static equals 3. Static final int error underscore page underscore dynamic underscore but underscore deterministic equals 4. Static final int error underscore page underscore undeterministic equals 5. Private HTTP message equals null. Private int error page type equals error underscore page underscore RFC. Sample response, HTTP message, int error page type. This dot message equals message. This dot error page type equals error page type. At return returns the message. Public HTTP message get message. Return message. At param message the message to set. Public void set message, HTTP message. This dot message equals message. At return returns the error page type. Public int get error page type. Return error page type. At param error page type the error page type to set. Public void set error page type, int error page type. This dot error page type equals error page type. Package org.parosproxy.paros.core.scanner. Import java.text.decimal format. Import java.utility vector. Import org.apache.commons.logging.log. Import org.apache.commons.logging.log factory. Import org.parosproxy.paros.common.thread pool. Import org.parosproxy.paros.model.site-node. Import org.parosproxy.paros.network.connection param. To change the template for this generated type comment, go to Window, Preferences, Java, Code Generation, Code and Comments. Public class scanner implements runnable. Private static log equals log factory.getLog, scanner.class. Private static decimal format equals new java.text.decimal format, number 0 number. Private vector listener list equals new vector. Private scanner param equals null. Private connection param equals null. Private HTTP sender equals null. Private boolean is stop equals false. Private thread pool equals null. Private site node start node equals null. Private analyzer equals null. Private long start to millis equals 0. Public scanner param, connection param. This dot connection param equals param. This dot scanner param equals scanner param. HTTP sender equals new HTTP sender, param. Pool equals new thread pool, scanner param.getHostperscan. Public void start, site node start node. Is stop equals false. Log.info, scanner started. Start to millis equals system.current to millis. This dot start node equals start node. Thread equals new thread, this. Thread.set priority, thread.norm underscore priority 2. Thread.start. Public void stop. Log.info, scanner stopped. Is stop equals true. Public void add scanner listener listener. Listener list.add, listener. Public void remove scanner listener, scanner listener listener. Listener list. Remove, listener. Public void run. Scan, start node. While, pool.isal thread complete. util.sleep, 4000. Pool.waitil thread complete, 0. Notify scanner complete. Public void scan, site node node. Host process equals null. Thread equals null. If, node. Is root. 4, int I equals 0, I node. Get child count, and, is stop, I++. Site node child equals, site node, node.get child at, I. String hostand port equals getHostand port, child. Host process equals new host process, hostand port, this, scanner param, connection param. Host process.set start node, child. 2. Thread equals pool.get free thread andron, host process. If, thread equals null, util.sleep, 500. While, thread equals null and, is stop. If, thread, equals null. Notify host newscan, hostand port, host process. Else. String hostand port equals getHostand port, node. Host process equals new host process, hostand port, this, scanner param, connection param. Host process.set start node, node. Thread equals pool.get free thread andron, host process. Notify host newscan, hostand port, host process. Public boolean is stop. Return is stop. Private string getHostand port, site node node. String result equals. Site node parent equals null. If, node equals null node. Is root. Result equals. Else. Site node cur node equals node. Parent equals, site node, node.get parent. While, parent. Is root. Cur node equals parent. Parent equals, site node, cur node.get parent. Result equals cur node.toString. Return result. Void notify host complete, string hostand port. 4, int I equals 0, I listener list.size, I++. Scanner listener equals, scanner listener list.get, I. Listener.host complete, hostand port. Void notify host progress, string hostand port, string message, int percentage. 4, int I equals 0, I listener list.size, I++. Scanner listener equals, scanner listener list.get, I. Listener.host progress, hostand port, message, percentage. Void notify scanner complete. 4, int I equals 0, I listener list.size, I++. Scanner listener equals, scanner listener list.get, I. Listener.scanner complete. Long diff to me millis equals system.current to me millis, start to me millis. String diff time string equals decimal format, double, diff to me millis 1000.0, plus s. Log.info, scanner completed in plus diff time string. Is stop equals true. Void notify alert found, alert. 4, int I equals 0, I listener list.size, I++. Scanner listener equals, scanner listener list.get, I. Listener.alert found, alert. Void notify host newscan, string hostand port, host process host thread. 4, int I equals 0, I listener list.size, I++. Scanner listener equals, scanner listener list.get, I. Listener.host newscan, hostand port, host thread. Package org.paros proxy.paros.core.scanner To change the template for this generated type comment, go to Window, Preferences, Java, Code Generation, Code and Comments. Public Interface Scanner Listener. Public Void Scanner Complete. Public Void Host Newscan, String Host and Port, Host Process Host Thread. Public Void Host Progress, String Host and Port, String Message, int percentage. Public Void Host Complete, String Host and Port. Public Void Alert Found, Alert.